Yeah. All right. Done with my hip workout. Time for my daily ice bath for the hip pain. If you're doing some type of squatting activity and you can't keep your hips stable, your knees will likely cave in or out or kind of vary between the two. That causes a lot of stress and pressure on areas of the knee that are vulnerable. So that's why you can have some aching in your knee even though it's coming from your hip. Sometimes training hip stability can immediately clear that up. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about how to test for hip stability. You're going to be doing a single leg squat on each leg, and I want you to see if one feels more difficult or if there's pain in either the knee or the hip. You're trying to keep your knee from wobbling while you do this. I'm doing a single leg squat as far as I can go and then come back up, and that was pretty good. I didn't have any pain and my knee was pretty stable. So that was a little bit harder for me. I didn't have any pain. I had a little bit of wobble. That's an indication of hip instability. I'm going to show you my 3 go-to exercises for hip stability. They all have to do with the muscle group called the gluteus medius, or the glute med. You might have heard that before, but it's a big muscle right here on your hips that are your primary stabilizer anytime you're doing single leg activities. For this first exercise, you need a step and a band. Technically, you don't need either, but these add a little bit higher level, force you to have more stability. You'll take the band and put it around your ankles. You'll stand with one foot on here, the other off to the side. You're getting a little bit of a bend in your knee here, and you're kicking out and back with this leg. If you watch closely, my hip is doing all the work. I'm not letting my back arch or lean forward to make me feel like I'm going farther. It's all of this hip. The cool thing about this, the glute med is obviously active on this left leg because that's the motion that the glute med performs, but my right leg's glute med is actually more active during this exercise because it's stabilizing me here. Again, I'm here, I'm nice and stable and controlled, and I'm pausing in my end range for a second or two, really focusing on getting a good burn right here and right here on this leg. You can see I'm trying to keep my front knee as stable as I can, as little wobble as I can. You would do that 10 to 15 reps on both legs. The next exercise is simply a goblet squat with a band around your lower shins. You may have seen people do it where they have a band around above their knees. You can do that too, but the lower down the band, the harder and the more feedback you get because the lever arm's longer, so it forces your muscle to do more work. And you're just getting some good tension, and you're making sure that your knee is drifting in line with your mid-foot when you go down. And I'm nice and stable all the way down, pause for a second, and all the way up. And I'm squeezing my glutes, and I'm getting some tension held in that band the whole time. That forces your glute med and your glute max to turn on initially before you do the goblet squat. So that will help you maintain stability while you're doing the entire exercise. So you would do 10 to 15 reps at that pace with the band there. My last go-to exercise is a Bulgarian split squat, which is one leg up on a bench like this, and you're basically doing a lunge or a single leg squat on that front leg. We're gonna add a couple elements to this. I want you to hold a weight on the side of the leg that's forward, because that'll create a little bit instability that you have to fight against. And I want you to have a band hooked up to something that would try to pull your leg in. Kind of like what we did when we squat, where you have to stabilize against that tension. That's what this does here too. You can set up that band on the mid shin. One last piece to this. When you're doing the split squat, I want your back leg to only have 10% of your pressure of what you're pushing with. I want 90% of the work coming from that front leg. That back leg is literally just there to keep you from falling over. It's a tripod just to hold you up. So I'd be here, and it's a paced squat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one rep. You would do 10, but you're keeping that knee drifting in line with your foot. It's not caving in or out. It's very stable that whole time. You'll feel that through that whole leg and that entire glute. You should be squeezing your glute as you do that as well. And that's it. That's my 3 go-to exercises for hip stability. If you add those into your leg days, that hip achingness will go away over time. Also, you might have noticed there was a lot of squatting mechanics involved in that video, and if you squat a lot and are tired of getting that butt wink at the bottom of your squat, it could be because of your hips and a couple other places too. Watch this video here where I go through in depth and get that fixed for you.